Samsung has pulled back the curtain on its fresh new Galaxy S20 flagship phones, and the most exciting and no doubt expensive of this trio is this wee blighter here, the Galaxy S20 Ultra. It's a 6.9-inch behemoth sporting the best specs of the bunch, but the biggest upgrade definitely comes courtesy of the 5 camera lenses, which offer a next-gen photo and video capture experience. I've already had a full proper play with the Galaxy S20 Ultra's camera tech, and here's an in-depth tour of all the new features and the upgrades versus the standard S20 and the S20 Plus. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do plug subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So first up, a quick squint at that camera hardware, and the S20 Ultra boasts a mighty 108 megapixel primary lens with built-in OIS, a huge step up from the puny 12 megapixel lens slapped on the standard S20 and S20 Plus. Backing that up, you also get a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens and a 48 megapixel telephoto shooter, offering a mighty 10 times optical zoom thanks to the fresh folded lens design. And that too has built-in optical image stabilization to help prevent blur when shooting subjects from afar. Last up on the back, you also get a depth vision lens just like the S20 Plus. This is basically a time of flight camera used specifically for the live focus video to add a nice bit of bokeh style effect in the background while you're shooting. Now boot up that camera app and it'll look very familiar to anyone who's used a Samsung blower in recent times. The app gives you fast access to your photo and video modes, as well as the fresh new single take feature, which is exclusive to the Galaxy S20 series, and I'll show you this in a bit. Flick to the More section and you'll have a host of other features to play around with, most of which are already available on existing Galaxy phones, although Samsung has added in a couple of fresh bonus bits. Again, we'll be taking a closer look at those in a second, but first let's check out the Galaxy S20 standard photo mode. Now when you're snapping away with the Galaxy S20 Ultra, you can use the high resolution mode to actually capture photos at that maximum 108 megapixel resolution, just like with Xiaomi's Mi Note 10. Great news if you plan on blowing up your pics for a billboard, or you want to crop into a snap and use just a small section of it without sacrificing the overall picture quality. Alternatively, you've got what Samsung has dubbed its smart camera system. This is basically an advanced form of pixel binning. What it does is combines the information from 9 individual pixels into one. So you end up with a much smaller 12 megapixel image, which may lack that sort of finer detail that you get in 108 megapixel photos, but it is a lot easier on your phone's storage. And the main benefit of that system is the brighter results that you'll get when shooting in low light. Samsung's test shots certainly looked impressive, but I'll reserve final judgment for my full S20 Ultra camera review. And another camera improvement that Samsung has really concentrated on for the S20 family is the reduction of motion blur whenever you're shooting a moving subject. I actually had the chance to test this one out in the preview session, and the results are certainly good considering how much motion was involved in this scene. It'll definitely be interesting to see if the S20 Ultra performs this well in more tricky lighting conditions though. And of course, telephoto lenses are still crazy popular right now, and Samsung may well be the new champion in that department thanks to the S20 Ultra and its crazy 10 times optical zoom. And that's something which Samsung actually previously already offered in a smartphone, although I'm talking about the rather bizarre K-Zoom handset from back in the day, which is probably best left buried back there in the past, to be honest. And the Ultra definitely beats off a lot of the current competition, such as the Oppo Reno 10 times zoom and Huawei's P30 Pro, which actually offer a 5 times optical zoom and 10 times hybrid zoom. Samsung has its own hybrid zoom mode here on the S20 phones, known as Space Zoom. And this maxes out at 30 times on the S20 and S20 Plus, but the Ultra absolutely smashes its siblings with a whopping 100 times space zoom thanks to the super sexed up telephoto lens. This means you can get a shot of something from absolutely blooming miles away, although understandably as you start to reach that maximum value, things do get rather grainy. Oh, and note that if you are shooting in that super high-res 108 megapixel mode using the primary lens, then your zoom is limited to a 6 times digital effort, so you're best off just cropping into the picture later once you've taken it. Now, one of the biggest new camera software features that Samsung has chucked on the S20 handsets is the single take mode. This basically uses all available rear cameras simultaneously to capture a variety of photos, video clips and filtered pics for as long as you like. And once you're done, you can then scroll through the results and either keep or bin each effort. This does seem a wee bit gimmicky, but it should work quite well for your action shots, giving you different perspectives with minimal fuss. All of the other S20 Ultra photo modes on here are returning classics like the live focus, which adds a bokeh style effect to your portraits, plus Samsung's night mode as well, which works with the standard and ultra wide angle lenses. And you also get full Pro controls as well if you want to play around with those manual camera settings. Swap to video mode though, and quite a lot has changed over those previous flagships. Of course, video capture is an area where Samsung basically already dominates, and the S20 family should definitely help the Korean giant to keep a secure grip on that crown. One of the most powerful and impressive new features here is the 8K resolution video capture, although of course you will need an 8K telly to take advantage of those incredibly sharp visuals, which only the truly minted can really afford right now. Still, the good news is that you can rip 33 megapixel images direct from your 8K video frames while you're watching them back, which offers an impressive bit of flexibility and means that single take mode is at least partly redundant. Alternatively, you can shoot 4K resolution video with the usual choice of 30 or 60 FPS, or drop to HD if you want to save on storage, or shoot a smaller capacity clip for easy sharing. And with this fresh generation of Samsung flagships, you also get a proper pro mode for your video too. This allows you to play around with the likes of the aperture, level and so on before you actually hit record, and then you can still fiddle about with the white balance and also manually focus while you're recording. Sure, it's not quite the cinema pro mode found on Sony's recent flagship phones, but here on the S20 Ultra it definitely seems to do the job. And with all of the new S20 phones, not just the Galaxy S20 Ultra, you also get a super jazzed up new Super Steady mode with even smoother results when you're bombing about the place. This still maxes out at Full HD resolution, but from the test footage we saw, it definitely looks very impressive indeed. And last up is a night hyperlapse mode for capturing those sexy looking clips of car headlights streaking across the cityscape. And last up, let's take a look at that selfie camera, which is housed in an Infinity O pinhole cutout just like on the Note 10 smartphones. Both the Galaxy S20 and the S20 Plus model serve up a 10 megapixel selfie cam, while the Ultra version boosts this to an epic 40 megapixel effort. Every sag, bag and wrinkle will definitely be on display, so you have been warned. And as usual, you got the live focus and other bits found on last year's Samsung flagship phones. And you could also shoot 4K resolution video at up to 60 frames per second using that selfie snapper, which is great news if you're into a bit of vlogging. So there you have a full early breakdown of the Galaxy S20 Ultra's very sexy camera tech indeed. Quite a lot of pioneering features in there, so it'll be very interesting to see how it holds up just for your everyday photos and videos. I'll be taking it on a full test run, so stay tuned for my in-depth review. And what do you think as well? It'd be great to hear your thoughts down below. Do you reckon that the Galaxy S20 Ultra will be worth that sky-high asking price? Are you looking forward to upgrading to it? Definitely be great to hear your thoughts down below. Please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest greatest tech. Cheers everyone, love you!